Well, hello, my infinitely precious and unconditionally loved friends who are gifts for just who they are. It's good to be with you today. I wanted to take a moment to talk about how busy and crazy sometimes our lives are. They ebb and they flow. Although, for the most part, it just seems like flow. It's just constantly rolling in as opposed to pulling away. How do we find, in the midst of all these demanding pieces of our lives, what some people might call a work life balance? How do we find a way through that? And one of the ways I want to suggest to you, or the way today I want to suggest to you, is to do something that the Benedictines, an order in the Roman Catholic Church, an order who follow a particular path, a rule for life. They have developed Saint Benedict, 15 centuries ago, give or take, developed sort of a pattern for work and prayer, prayer and work. And one of the ways I want to suggest to you that you might manage all the pieces of your life is to recognize, first of all, you can't get everything done. There's no way in the midst of all the other things that are going on in your life that you can get everything done. So obviously you have to set a priority and then another priority and then another priority based on what lies before you. So you're probably not going to get everything done. But another thing is to tackle each of the things that are coming our ways, coming our way in increments. So, for instance, this morning I needed, you can't see it from where you are, but immediately, I could turn the camera, but I'm not going to. Immediately to my right, your left, is a bookshelf. There's a big one behind me, there's a short one right here, and it had become stacked with all sorts of books everywhere. And so I came down here for my morning prayer time, my morning journaling, and I was just totally distracted as I tried to sit here by what, threatened to be a precipitous leaning tower of books that could fall over at any moment. So before I did my centering prayer and meditation this morning, I said, I'm just going to set a timer. I'm going to take about 20 minutes and I'm going to see what I can do in those 20 minutes. At the end of the 20 minutes, whether it's done or not, I'm going to stop. I can come back to it later on, but I am going to stop at the end of 20 minutes. So for 20 minutes, I worked on it. As it turned out, at the end of 20 minutes, in the middle of the 20-minute period of time, I still had an opportunity. I still had a little time left. So there was another little, I took some of the trash and the recycling that had come off of the shelf, and I rearranged that too. I partially rearranged some of the books here behind me. And then when the timer went off, I was done and I was ready for my morning sit, my morning prayer and meditation. The same could be true for whatever, you may look around and you say, I need to do some vacuuming today. I need to do some laundry. I need to do some tasks in your house, or you may have a specific work task that you know is going to take several days to get done. And maybe if you set aside a specific amount of time, I'm going to work until the timer goes off and then I'm going to stop and move on. You discover, first of all, that it gives you sort of a freedom to move from one thing to another. Oftentimes I find myself setting a timer, say for instance, for 55 minutes. And at the end of 55 minutes, I'm going to give myself a 5-minute break. Now, maybe you don't have that kind of flexibility in the kind of work you do, or when you're at home, you're at the beck and call of small children, other people who might need you, and so you don't have quite as much control, perhaps, as I seem to have when I talk to you about the choices that I can make with my time. But for the times you do have choices, perhaps you come to the end of a long day, you've been at work all day, you've been doing things all day, and you're just exhausted. But you know that if you don't do something about straightening the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, something that it'll still be staring you in the face when you get up tomorrow morning. Maybe you just say, I'm going to give it my all for 10 minutes. And if you're by yourself, or if you can discreetly put in earphones or something, you could play some music that you really like and say for 10 minutes, you're just going to do dishes. You're going to vacuum the floor. You're going to dust, whatever it is. And at the end of that 10 minutes, you're going to stop. You've promised yourself that it's a 10-minute task. Now, there are always new things you discover when you're in the middle of something. That at the end of 10 minutes, you're going to stop. At the end of 20 minutes, you decide how long it is. For me, 20 minutes was what I thought this morning when I set about to work over here. And then I felt more at peace when I sat in this very same chair to do my morning prayer and meditation, because I wasn't concerned that somewhere in the middle of my prayer and meditation, this pile of books, probably about that tall, you can't tell how tall that is, probably 18 inches, 15 to 18 inches tall, won't fall over on me, won't fall over and distract me. And so I found it actually benefited me. Even though I like to start with prayer and meditation, for me, clearing things up first gave me a different way of seeing, different way of being present. So try that. In the ebb and flow of your life, or the flow and flow of your life where it just seems like the tide is always coming in, what if you divide the tasks in your life, the things that are before you? And if you don't feel like you can take a break, what would it be like if you set a 10-minute timer and said, for 10 minutes, I'm not going to check my phone, I'm not going to look at my Apple Watch, I'm not going to turn on the TV or anything else. For 10 minutes, I'm going to sit silently. So you can do the same thing with your restful time. That rhythm that the Benedictines developed, work and prayer, work and prayer. Actually, they considered work to be prayer and prayer to be work. So it was all one constant flow. And perhaps if you divide the things in your life that way, you'll see the constant flow of your life, how everything is connected, how your energy level matters because it makes a difference in being able to do the tasks before you. Some tasks could take you an hour because you're just exhausted already, when if you just put in 20 minutes and say, 20 minutes, I'm done, you throw yourself into it, and at the end of 20 minutes, you're done. As much as you've got done. And you promise yourself, and you remain true to that promise. Those were just some thoughts I had today. My life is filled with ebb and flow, with lots of things that pull me in different directions. And so it seemed to me that in the midst of that, I could offer you something that might help you in the midst of your ebb and flow, flow and flow, ebb and ebb, whatever it is. So thanks for joining me. I hope that you will find some kind of, there's no such thing as balance. There really isn't any such thing as balance. But perhaps if you're way leaning on the work side, you could pull back a little bit and have a little bit of a life. Or if you're way leaning on the life side, you could engage in a little bit of work, even if that work is just in your own personal space. So some thoughts for today. Hope you have a great day and a great great week. And whatever you're doing, find that place to surf the ebb and flow of the waves in your life. And until the next time, have a great week.